Hi, I'm Adam, and I'm here to talk to you about Alabama's longest remaining free-flowing stretch of river, the Cahaba River. Flowing from just north of Birmingham all the way down to Selma, where it reaches the Alabama River, this nearly 200-mile-long river is home to hundreds of plant and animal species, many of whom are endangered or threatened. I love this river. It is a beautiful place. Around the world, it's known as a hotbed of ecological diversity. And for me personally, it's a place where I spend my time. Me and my brothers kayak and fish this river all the time. And there's just hundreds of plants and animals to look at. They're native to the river itself. There's all sorts of interesting features like the rock formations on the side of the river. There's the Cahaba River lilies that in the springtime, they bloom out of the water and they're incredible to look at, these beautiful white star-shaped lilies. Unfortunately, this beautiful river is being threatened every day by water runoff from buildings to construction sites to parking lots. Sediment is flooding into the river over and over again every day, every time it rains, every time there's some form of flooding. It causes the banks of the river to collapse, flooding the river with more sediment, which causes fish species to start dying off at a dramatic rate, which causes the river to put less nutrients back into the ecosystem, and eventually, over time, this could cause the entire ecosystem to collapse. Not only that, but it causes the river to be muddy and causes visibility in the water to be way lower than it should be. It fills the river with toxins from the surrounding community, oil from like highways and things like that, and honestly it just causes the fishing to be not as good, which affects me personally. I love to fish the river, and it causes the fishing to be lower and lower. I've noticed in the areas closer to highways and things like that, the river's not as diverse. When I go out in the middle of nowhere, I find that there's more fish species, more animal species. It is just a much more beautiful place when it is not being constantly affected by land developments and construction sites. So what can we do? Do we remove ourselves entirely from nature? Do we stop developing around the river? Do we honestly just cease ties with the beauty of the wilderness itself? Which is one school of thought. In fact, I go caving, and when I go caving, I have to get a permit because there are some caves that have never been set foot in, and the moment someone does, that environment, that ecosystem changes forever. Or do we encounter the wilderness? Do we step foot into it? Do we fall in love with the wilderness and therefore want to change the things that are harming it so terribly? This is something that I believe in so much so, because I'm not an expert in ecological damage. I'm not an expert in endangered species, but I am someone who has fallen in love with a place. And when I fell in love with that place, this river, this Cahaba River, I wanted to see it cleaner. I wanted to go out into the woods and pick up trash. I wanted to bring my friends there to show them how beautiful it is, to show them why it's so important that we change laws to make it harder for companies to build buildings and parking lots that will just put mud and silt into the river. Why it's important for us to bring our children, bring our friends, bring our families to see how beautiful and how important the nature around us is. And honestly, it's just important just to take a step back, take a step out into the wilderness and relax and get healing from not being around the hustle and bustle, the chaos that the city and society brings.